Welcome everyone. This is episode 3 of the Purgatory Aftershow. We're back. We are here for our part 2 on the best albums of this year, 2024. We're continuing what we started on episode 2. So if you want to check out a lot of fucking awesome metal because our lists have been so great up to this point, I would definitely check out episode number 2 for a lot of cool metal recommendations. And we're gonna start here, and then I just want to talk a little bit about how we are doing this, just in case you don't want to go back to number 2 and you want to just keep listening to this one. The way this is going is we have clips in here. We don't know what music is in them, and we are just rotating between us, and we're just playing the clip, listening to it, reacting to it, and we're going over everybody's lists from the bottom all the way to the top. So we're gonna start with number 5, then 4, 3, 2, 1. And if there's duplicates, so for example, if I have an album that is my number 5, and then Derek has that same album higher in his list, we're not going to discuss when my clip comes up. We're going to wait until it shows up at the higher position possible between all of our lists.
We did have a couple of albums that happened to in part 1, right? Can we remember what they were?
That is true. I think I know all of them. So Derek had Siderean, Spilling the Astral, Chalice in number 9, and I said it's higher on my list, so we're gonna find out which position that's in this episode. Then Wibbs had Oxygen Destroyer, Guardian of the Galaxy, on position 8, and that's also higher on my list. So I am the one complicating things, apparently.
How dare you?
And I had Blood Incantation, Absolute Elsewhere, on position number 6, and then both Derek and Wibbs said that that album is higher on their lists. So yeah,
you had Vemod, the Deepening.
Oh, true, I forgot. I have Vemod as well, the Deepening, and then that's the Wibbs crack entry on my top 10. And Wibbs said that one is obviously higher in his list. So yeah, so we had 4 instances where we're delayed the discussion to this episode. So cool. Everybody's ready for us to just dive in?
Yeah, I'm just realizing I might have a Wibbs crack list, but anyway, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. All right.
That's not the case.
Cool. Then let's start. So yeah, we're following an alphabetical order, same order from the previous episode. So right now we're gonna listen to kick things off. We're gonna start with Derek's number 5. So let's get to it.
Off we go. Yeah. No, that was the Apparition. If anybody's familiar with the band Apparition, their song Paradoxism from another long one. Here we go. Disgraced, Emanations from a Disgraced State is the album. I can't say that again, so don't ask me to do that. But yeah, so that was released by Profound Lore earlier this year. If you couldn't already tell, some Death Doom from Los Angeles, California. And this band is just, a bunch of hardcore dudes who decided they want to play in a Death Doom band, which is works out pretty well, surprisingly. There's the likes of Taylor Young from Twitching Tongues, X Nails, Dead Body? Yeah, Dead Body. And then there got guys from Dead Heat in this band too. So just a bunch of hardcore guys having a great time. But yeah, I mean it's a great album. It's a very different album, I would say, from their debut, which I loved a lot. The debut is called Feel. And where Feel had like a balance between like the knuckle dragging kind of death metal, the doom parts, and then it was still catchy and all of that. This one will alienate some people in that it's a lot doomier. Just like a lot more plotting in some roots, some funeral doom kind of passages. But that suits me just fine. So that's still pretty high on my list, as you can tell. But yeah, it's also a little more psychedelic, I would say, this time around. You could kind of tell there even a little bit with the like hypnotic kind of like bringing the riff back, but maybe a little louder this time kind of thing. Yeah, I mean it's a great album. It's exactly the kind of stuff I go for. And now that I think about it, another favorite of mine, Zumpantly, is also a bunch of hardcore guys making death doom. So this might just be a thing for me. I might just be really into hardcore guys who make death doom. Anyway.
On brand.
I was thinking about that as we were listening to the clip. Like we had Wibbs crack to define that kind of black metal that Wibbs likes, but we need some sort of terminology for this kind of stuff because it's so on brand for you, Derek.
Derek Doom.
Derek Doom.
Derek Doom.
Yeah. Derek Doom.
Dare Doom.
It sounds like
Dare
a
Doom.
That sounds like a supervillain on like Powerpuff Girls. I'm into it though.
It's interesting. I think Derek and I talked about this before, that I do like Death Doom, but it's kind of hard for me sometimes if it's you talked about alienating people if it's just low, and that's definitely some of the kind of the case for me. Like I think I didn't give this album though enough time. Listening to the clip, it just makes me want to go back to it and give it more attention. It didn't make even my list because I think I gave it one spin and that was it, because I just didn't pay attention. So yeah, that's the problem. Like I very short attention span, I guess. But the clip was great. Makes me want to go back to it and check it out. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I checked this out at all, but yeah, same. Clip was awesome. Very on brand for Derek. And, again, like, I think we talked about this with Uttertomb and maybe something else in episode 1, but, like, it's not too slow. It's not that slow. Like, come on.
No, it's not.
Like,
it's
I guess you can bang your head to this shit. So I'm fucking down. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah, No,
I still can't put my finger on why there are certain Death Doom bands that I like. Others, maybe it's not related to the speed. I just didn't like the band or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and this one's not slow. It's just compared to Feel. Feel was very like riffy and catchy, whereas this one they gave themselves a little bit more like room to kind of, riff out and hold some, notes and whatnot. But yeah,
I like the name of the band a lot. Apparition. It's a cool name. Yep.
Yeah, they went from a one word album name to just so long. But just in the span of one album, I was like, wow. But anyway,
what is it called again? Cover. The name you said you didn't want to pronounce it again. Like,
all right, I'll do it again. Just this one time. Disgraced, Emanations from a Disgraced State.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a great album.
Okay. Awesome. And now we're going to move forward into my number 5. Let's do it.
pinched harmonic was so nasty.
Shit.
Well, I said at the beginning of the episode, the previous one, that we don't know what the clips are, but now I'm starting to suspect Wibbs a little bit because he did mention Uttertomb right before I played my number 5. So this was Uttertomb. This is from the album called Nebulas of Self-Desecration. This song's called Graceless Thaumaturgy. I think that's how you pronounce that. We already talked about this album quite a bit when we listened to that on episode 1, so I don't think we need to discuss it a lot here. I'm assuming it's not on yours lists, right?
It's on my list, just not top 10.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, it's a great band from Chile, and we discussed this album at length on our first episode, so why don't you go and check that out?
Yeah,
But
we
I just
absolutely hated it. That's a spoiler alert.
Yeah, so bad. I think they're really good with this whole, like, there's so many memorable riffs and like sections in this album, like what we just listened to. Choosing a clip was so hard for me on this album in particular, really hard, because it's just too good.
I reacted to that pinched harmonic though, on that, like that was just came out of nowhere, like just that tremolo picking into that pinch, that was fucking filthy. I loved it. So yeah, like that was a great clip, man.
Yeah, nasty album.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really good death metal. Really, really like the band.
Yeah, it is.
Can't wait to
Yeah, it was
see what
alright.
they're gonna do next. So really excited.
Chile is fucked, yo.
Yeah,
It sure
It's
is.
something.
it's
in
funny.
the water.
Like this is Slime Lord was also a debut, which was my number 8, and this is also their first album. It's kind of crazy, right? Such a good album for a new band.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're getting to Wibbs number 5, and we're going to play it now. Let's do it.
Right now. Yeah.
So that was the third band in the listings that we've done that's not metal enough to be on Metal Archives. So that was Wake by Glassing from their album The Other Side of the Mirror. Glassing is a experimental avant-garde post-hardcore post-metal collective from Texas. Who fucking knows?
There's some black metal in there.
Absolutely. There's they've always, well, I should say always, they've certainly had a bit of a black metal element previously. This kind of like convergence of black metal and post-hardcore is quite en vogue at the moment, I think, happening a lot. But their previous album, at least, was much darker than this and really, really bleak. And this one, it seems like they kind of listen to Sunbather a lot, maybe, and just went like full kind of, you know, cathartic black metal. I mean, that clip was not black metal at all, obviously, but like, apart from the kind of like screechy vocals, but yeah, they've really kind of gone into a kind of very kind of melodic, cathartic, accessible space on this record, I think, and I feel like it suits them really, really nicely. Not all of it is like this, and this is the final track on the album as well, so it kind of builds up to that very, very uplifting, cathartic main riff, which I just think is just glorious. It's not all like that, but it's generally of that kind of that feel. And yeah, it's a this is a Wibbs crack pick. Like this is the one.
Yeah.
That's like the really,
Yeah.
really, really, this is my jam, where it's like that kind of convergence of black metal and post hardcore that I really, really love. And I think a great, awesome band that I was, you know, really, really into previously, but this album, a bit of a change of direction for them. Like it's much more accessible than the earlier stuff, and if this is a little bit too saccharine, I could understand that. Maybe check out some of the early stuff is not so much. But what do you guys think? Have you even listened to this before?
It's on my It's on my long list.
It's another one that's on the very long.
I mean, it's at the very. It's like it's not near the top 10, but it's one that
it's on the list.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
All right,
No,
nice.
I like this album a lot. It's just not one I've spent a lot of time with, but it's one of those where I've listened to it and been like, oh no, this is like really good. And if I did spend a lot of time with it, I'd really like it. But this just wasn't the year for that. So at least this kind of, like you're saying, this kind of black metal just didn't, not what I was reaching for this year. But it is great. And to your point about Deaf Heaven, just continues the pattern of bands being super influenced by Sunbather, which could be a whole other episode, I'm sure. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know this band at all. I will say that the vocals really I got like as we were listening to the clip, and we can see each other's faces as we are recording, and then we all kind of jumped in our seats when the vocals came in. It was pretty interesting. I don't know if it's really my jam, but because it's you, Wibbs, I'll give it a go, and because it's so high in your list, I'll
it is
give
really
a try.
good. I can vouch for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the
Oh,
Outside
there you
Mirror
go. So
by,
the first on the first
Glassing.
episode, Wibbs was just flexing and showing that he has every single band on his top 10 in wax. He has the vinyls, and there he goes showing more vinyls.
There you go.
just
showing
the
his
top 10?
vinyl.
Just the top 10. He probably has the top like 300 or something. I don't know, man. Cool. So yeah, we're reaching the top. We got to number 4 now. Things are heating up. Cool. And now we're back to Derek.
If this one will sound familiar.
Perhaps we'll see. Let's hit play right now.
so that was a skin fact with the album. Definitely nowhere. No,
it's the
yeah.
same clip. So for people that listen to episode number 2, Blood Incantation was my number 6. Wibbs already called as we were listening here, because we can see each other in the recording, that it's higher in your list, right, Wibbs?
It is higher on my list.
Yeah, so we're not gonna discuss the album now, but
Good.
it's kind of funny.
But
it's
it is fucking hilarious.
It's same exact clip. Oh,
It's a
man.
great song.
It is a great song.
Beautiful.
It's really, really
Beautiful.
I guess we can say the song again if you didn't listen to the first one.
Yeah. There you go.
And it was The Message, Tablet 1, my favorite tablet. And from, of course, Absolute Elsewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're gonna dock the conversation about Blood Incantation, and then we're gonna move on to my number 4. Let's go. I mean,
That was fucking awesome. What the fuck
Shit.
was that?
what the fuck? This fucking band came out of nowhere. I only know them because of Derek.
I was gonna say, I think I know who this is. Yeah.
This is Tomb Portal. The name
Yeah.
of the album is
Oh,
called
yeah,
Enthanatogen.
Yep.
This band came out of fucking nowhere, and it's borderline under the albums that I've listened to the most this year. It's just like, man, did you guys listen to this?
Yeah.
This
Many
riff
times.
is
I actually just listened to this last week, and I while I was listening to it, I posted onto like Blue Sky of like, fucking hell, this is amazing! Like, what the fuck? But
this
I had,
riff
I
is
hadn't
like
gone back
so.
to it.
It reminds me so much of Bolt Thrower. The
Oh,
the
yeah.
riff we just listened to.
Well,
It's
I
crazy.
think I actually said Bolt Thrower riffs in the
Really?
post. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a faster, like murkier Bolt Thrower kind
But
of.
what
band.
about the vocals?
Yes,
I know.
The
it's
vocals are so
fucking
gross.
amazing. Yeah.
Oh my
fucking
god.
amazing. It's the kind of album that just like it just makes me happy that I like this shit called metal, man. It's that's the kind of thing. It's one of those, and it clicked right away. Like, this is one of the love at first sight kind of deal albums for me. Derek recommended. I'm not sure, for you, that for the listener, like, we are in a Discord server with some other friends, we talk about metal and stuff, and then I remember Derek posted that album, and I hit play, and I don't know, man, just literally love at first sight. It's like, this is everything I like in metal. So yeah. Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The band is from Budapest. They're from Hungary. And the people that created the band, they are part of something called the Bone Chapel Collective. There's not a lot of information about them, but they do have 3 other bands. I don't.
It's
know
one
the
of those
name.
Rothadas.
No, the bands are called. Give me 1 second. They have, it's Os, Holt, and Zurkulet.
Oh.
And for 2 of them, like, it's even kind of hard finding some of the material because they only have demos. Os is a death metal band as well, but I really didn't listen to it. I should have tried some of their other shit, but I was too hooked up by this album, I guess. And it's another debut. That's their first. So can't wait to see
Damn.
what else they're gonna release. This is a
a
fucking
great
strong
debut.
album. Great debut. So
Yeah, this one was right outside of the top 10 for me.
really,
It was
Yeah, no.
inside. It was inside for a long time. Then it was out, and then it was in. It ultimately landed out. So, but it's a great album. I love it.
yeah, I fucking love
Yeah,
it.
like you said, it was like everything you want in death metal. Yeah, it's
Yep.
same.
Pretty much. Okay, and now we're gonna move on to Wibbs number 4. Let's do it.
Let's see what it is. Raining blood. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about this album extensively in our debut episode. It's one of my picks. So the song was, oh my goodness, I'm gonna, it's La Encarnación de todos los miedos.
Yeah, the incarnation of all fears.
Yeah.
Ooh, very
Beautiful.
nice.
And it's the band is Selbst, and the album is Despondency chord progressions. Does anybody have this higher? I'm assuming no.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been completely wild if that was the case. But anyway, so yeah, I won't go into too much detail about this yet because we talked about it a lot on the previous episode. But this is a really kind of one-man project, originally out of Venezuela, but now based in Chile, and he plays kind of black metal, post-black metal, I guess, with a guest / session drummer. This time it's a Spanish fella from a host of Spanish black metal bands, plus Eternal Storm, the Spanish Melodeath band. And God, it's just beautiful, cathartic black metal. I think you're probably getting the theme for me at this point if you're not acquainted, but very kind of in many ways bleak and hopeless, but also cathartic and uplifting black metal with lots of raging blast beats and tremolo picking, and in this case some very, very beautiful guitar solos. If you want more from me on this, check out episode 1 of the Purgatory Aftershow. But any additional thoughts from you guys? I mean, we kind of talked about it a lot.
I mean, it's definitely on my list. I've listened to this album quite a bit. Yeah, we already talked about it a lot in our first episode. But yeah, it's just beautiful. As you're saying, like cathartic, a little bit darker, I would say, like black metal. I joked saying that this is a darker Guerrilla when the new Guerrilla
Very
came
accurate.
out. Yeah, it's really good band.
Yeah, still really good. I still really like it. Yeah, it did not make my list though, sadly.
Oh,
Not
we have a
everything
hater.
can make the list.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
We
an
should- we should-
exclusive list. What can I say?
Yeah, the Heretic. Damn. All right. Which is a
Number
good album.
3.
Heretic, which is a
all the way up.
very
That is a
good
great,
album by Morbid Angel. People shit
great
on it. I
Morbid
like
Angel
it.
album.
Anyway.
We'll have a debate on that another time.
Yeah, or when the Morbid Angel album comes, I think Derek and we're gonna pile up on Wibbs. But okay, so let's do number 3. We're in the top 3, guys. We're here. Very
This is the
excited.
business end.
Very
Here we go.
excited. Here we go. Number 3, Derek's pick. Let's go.
God, that album fucking rules.
Man, yeah, it's amazing.
uh,
Amazing.
Yeah. So do we all know what that was?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay. So yeah, for the uninitiated, it is that was Mayhemic with the song Triumph Portrait from the album Toba, which was released
Yeah,
on
that one,
yeah.
honestly, this was been my number 8 at sometimes my number 9. At one point, it was made it all the way up to number 6. But then, as you guys are describing, you start listening to different things, and then they start moving around and
Yeah.
moving around and moving around. But I've listened to this album so much. It's a great album to listen to at the gym when you're
Oh yeah.
working out. Great music.
Yeah. No, this is some relentless death thrash from a place not known for thrash, weirdly, which is Chile. Yeah. But it's a bit of a supergroup, which I was kind of not aware of until I was doing some research here, because the members are also members or were former members of Ripper, the band Ripper, Hellish, and Critical Defiance. So
Which
yeah,
are
no,
all good bands.
yeah, you should
Ripper is
listen to all
awesome.
of those
Critical
bands.
Defiance is awesome as well. It's I just checked. It's in my number 11, Mayhemic.
Damn.
So I'm not joking. It's
Spoiler
made it
alerts for the
in and
whole
out.
list. Jeez.
Yeah, Jesus. But yeah, fucking awesome album.
Yeah, I mean, I remember sending this to our good friend Tote, who is the, I guess, purveyor of all things fine death thrash. And just telling him, like, I think this is a perfect modern death thrash album. Like, it's just unrelenting, just ugly, in your face, dive bomb solos.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's so wonderful. Puts a smile on my face every time.
I think that the vocals as well, they do remind me of Mile from I think it's Mile his name, right? From Creator, but from early Creator. They remind me a lot of, like, I don't know if it's the tone, the way he sings, but it's just like so similar.
There's a lot of early Creator in this album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is I welcome that, because I want more early Creator.
Yeah. I love Creator, so.
But yeah. What do you think, Wibbs?
Oh god, like fucking, just like you said, how can that not put a massive headbanging, shit-eating grin on your face? Because like it's just like fucking and relentless is the word, right? Like I'm listening to that clip and it's just like, oh, you think that they're done with the riff or the solo, or like, God, it's only like a 90-second clip, but there's always more coming off the back of it. Like every time, like no, there's more of that shit. It just keeps coming at you, just like waves and waves of awesomeness, and like, yeah, it was blissful. I fucking loved it. It's amazing. I listened to the album a couple times. I just like I just get stuck in my rut and haven't haven't spent enough time with making myself happy. I need to devote more time to that, and this album would do that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It's this is another debut. Shockingly, I don't understand how.
Chalice, well,
Chile, well, it's fucking Chile.
At least
so
these guys really know what they're doing. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm not so familiar with the other bands, but like Critical Defiance is, in my opinion, is like the premier thrash band.
Yeah.
In the world right now. I just no. I think that they're the best thrash band, and they also released an album this year.
They did.
That was very 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 good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. They're consummate musicians. You can just everything about it is just perfectly done.
I do have the Critical Defiance album in my list, like my larger list, but it just didn't make like too higher. I think it's just because there were other thrash albums that I was enjoying more this year.
There's one thing about Critical Defiance. I think like they play thrash, which is almost like a little unfashionable nowadays, where like almost every thrash band nowadays plays crossover or
some other flavor, some other gimmick, something like
kind of
thrash like this. Yeah.
Whereas Critical Defiance, they're just like, nope, we came to downpick. That's what we're here for. It's fucking cool. Anyway, don't want to diverge onto a different band, but like
they're a great band though. To be fair. But yeah, the last thing I will say on this one is a thing as I've listened to this album, I don't know how many times, could be hundreds, who knows. I think it we'll look back on this one in like 10 years as like a classic album. I really do.
I think we might. Yeah, I think you're right. It's really it strikes me as like something I will be coming back to as the year goes by. It's not gonna be one of those albums that I think I'm gonna forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Cool. So talking about, fun times, let's go to my number 3.
Off we go.
In other words, if we allow it to survive, we will die. We must fight it to extinction.
I fucking love this band. Man, honestly, make metal fun again. That's what I have here.
Hell yeah.
You were talking about Mayhemic and just like how fun we're having with thrash metal. I mean, come on. Like this, I'm assuming that's not on your list, right, Derek? Okay, so I think this was Wibbs' number. Remind me, number
8, I think.
Right? Okay, so now it's the time for us to discuss this. Man, was Oxygen Destroyer, Guardians of the Galaxy. The name of the song is Diner. Seriously, John. Like, I love this song. If you guys have no idea, I mean, come on, man. Like, what? It's an album about fucking Godzilla lore. So sometimes it's nice to remind ourselves that metal can be like somewhat silly, but it's like, I mean, not silly. I do like the theme, but you know what I mean. Everything doesn't have to be about death and then chaos and obscurity and the occult and whatever. And when someone is able to put out an album that it's kind of like that and sounds fucking amazing, right? Did you guys listen to this guy's vocals?
Yeah.
In this album, like, he's just fucking pissed. He's pissed off throughout the whole album. I do like how I think Wibbs and we saw them earlier this year live, and it's crazy. Like, it's like full on like gas pedal, non-stop, like riffing and singing, and then the way he harmonizes his voices with the riffs is just fucking crazy. And then it's just like, riff on top of riff on top of riff on top of riff on top of riff and riff. It just keeps going, and I don't know. I don't think I had more fun with any other album, even though I have other two that are higher in my list, just because of like personal preferences. I think in just term of like sheer amount of fun, I think that's the most fun I had with metal this year, was just listening to Oxygen Destroyer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I love this album. Obviously, this is the third Oxygen Destroyer album for me that I've like been really into. So I knew what was coming, and what was coming was exactly what was on the prior two albums. It was just like an absolutely relentless onslaught of riffs and blasts and like crazy dive bombing solos, and just like you said, those nasty the Lord Kaiju vocals that just like fucking just rip your skin off. I mean, yeah, a lot of metal, like you say, is very serious, and oh god, like the next clip that's going to be played is very highfalutin serious nonsense. and like this is just what's good about metal, it's just like fun. Just
that next
go
clip
there,
sells.
bang your head. And the next clip is good, but like it's like not fun in the way that this is fun. Like this, it's just not going to put a smile on your face and think, oh my god, like isn't this it? Like it's supposed to be a release, right?
Yeah.
Like a diversion, like it like a rush of endorphins. It's like it's and Oxygen Destroyer is just the perfect tonic for, and actually, isn't it also really quite topical? Where like when you all really just want a monster to just come and like fucking burn the whole world down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, we're kind of gonna get one, but like not in the way that we want. But like,
This is not that kind of podcast.
well, but the kaiju movies are social commentary, right?
Ooh,
And
I didn't know this.
Well, that's my take. But it's just fucking awesome music that is good, because like the musicianship is fucking off the charts. Like there is not a note put wrong, and Mauricio and I can attest to this. When you see it live, tight as fuck.
Yes.
They are absolutely on point, delivering that shit as fast, if not faster. And it's just that you just come away from it just like with this just massive fucking grin on your face. Like, yeah, this is what metal is supposed to be about.
Yeah. And sorry, Derek, I know that there are others. I've seen some people saying that this is not as strong as the previous records, but I don't know. Personally, I like this one more. I mean, I like it even more. I like the other two, but I don't know. I mean, there's something about this album. I think they are. I don't know what it is. actually, because sometimes I listen to all three of them in sequence. And I just, when I'm like on one of those days where I need some energy, I just put the three albums on repeat, and that's pretty much all I do. But yeah, fucking amazing, man. Really, really good band.
There's really no stylistic or like technical differences between the three.
Yeah, it's the same. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's the song in
need to be.
itself. Yeah, I don't know.
It's
For
more
example,
octave
Thy Name
in
is
the story.
Legion. Yeah, Thy Name is Legion, which it's the song that this clip was from. I think it's my favorite Oxygen Destroyer song. I really love what he does with the vocals. I like how catchy it is as well. So maybe that's what it is.
I'll get around to giving it a proper listen at some point, probably. It's just one of those I keep being like, oh man, I really like that. Like that clip. I was like, man, I really like that. I should listen to it. And then it just doesn't happen. There's a lot of music coming out. But yeah, it's on me. It's on me. It's really great. I know it's great.
Yeah, really awesome, Ben. Yay.
Right.
And now I think we're shifting the mood a little bit, apparently. So we're going to shift the mood a little bit.
Ready to be sad?
Yeah, I think. So we're going to go to Wibbs number 3. Let's go.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't that sad. Come on.
You don't think that was sad?
I mean,
Mournful.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
mournful,
that
but not-
was a tearjerker.
It was beautiful. I will say that.
That was beautiful, yeah.
So,
I know who it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who it is, Mauricio?
I think I know, but I'm afraid of saying and being wrong.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fine. So,
Just
so
to
that
see if I was right. Yeah.
that was a little bit of "Nigh to Her Gloam" by Aquilus from
Yeah,
the
I have that
album.
in my list. Okay, I was right.
Yeah, from the album Bellum II. So Aquilus is a Australian one-man project. And the main dude, Waldorf, like plays everything. He has a live, session band and stuff. They do play live nowadays, not just a studio project. But fuck, like that was a little clip from a 17-minute long song, and it's an hour. Like, I don't know, hour and 20-minute long album or whatever, like this, and it's his third. And there was a major break between the first album in 2011 and then the second, which was Bellum I, in 2021. So a 10-year interlude of nothing from this phenomenal musician. As you can see, great, obviously great guitarist. But what we didn't hear there was the big like piano or kind of like classical piano interludes that are really present in all of Aquilus's music. And just very, very long form, forlorn, sad, kind of atmospheric black metal, I guess. It's black metal of a kind, but very much very heavily influenced by Opeth, especially the drumming. It does the Martin Lopez beat, the boom 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 beat. The Lopez just kind of laced all of the great golden era Opeth records with. This could be number one, honestly. I mean, like, I think I'm really, really in love with this album. The 2011 album, Grisius, fucking go and check that out. That is a remarkable piece of work. I didn't know about it until I discovered the band here, but, like, fucking hell, really good. Really, really, really good. All three of them are amazing. Anyway, just off the soapbox, what are you saying?
Yeah, I remember when you recommended. I mean, I didn't know Aquilus before you recommended this album to me, and yeah, it's just beautiful, beautiful music. And both albums, like Bellum 1 and 2, like they kind of complement each other a bit. I think. I think they're just both. I don't know. It's that side of black metal where, the atmospheric black metal ish. I think where it's just beautiful compositions, beautiful music. So very talented musician for sure.
Yeah, I remember hearing Grisius. Had to be like 2018. I think I was like living in New York at the time, and I was walking through like the scenic part of Brooklyn, and I was like, wow, this is just so beautiful. And then I remember seeing people be like, yeah, cherish it, you're never gonna get another one, because it had been, I guess, 7 years and he had never said he was gonna make another anything, and everybody's like, oh. But then we got Bellum 1 and then Bellum 2 this year, and I would say Bellum 2 is close to being on par with Grisius. It's pretty brilliant. It's it's great. It's just such a unique guy. I think just one guy. Nobody's really doing stuff like this in like the classical long form black metal-y kind of way. But yeah, so rewarding too. So so many layers, so many things you pick up on the more you re-listen to it. Yeah, it's a wonderful album. It was like number 12 for me or something like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank. Yeah.
All right. Just only two more. So now it's number 2 for Derek.
me.
In the back of my head, I'm starting to think like, what's going to be? There's it's one of the two, right? It's 50-50 at this point, I think. So let's see.
Let's see what this is going to
Let's go. I like that segment so much.
Do you know what it is?
Again, like I'm so afraid of saying the wrong thing every time. I'm sorry. It's because this reminds me of when I was a young metal guy in Brazil, and you like if you were wearing like a T-shirt of a band, people will come to you and say, "Yeah, do you know the name of like 4
name
albums
5
of
songs."
this band? Like, saying 5 songs, kind of deal." And that just makes me like feel like
Yeah, that's what
afraid
we're
of saying
about
the wrong
here.
thing. So
That's what we're about here. Gatekeeping. We want to make sure everything is kept firmly behind. Yeah. No. So that was Void Witch, the band Void Witch.
you
with
recommended
this,
them to me. I've listened to them recently, and they are on my list.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. I wasn't 1,000% sure. I knew the song, but I was like, so I'm
Yeah.
glad I didn't guess.
Yeah, so that was their song Malevolent Demiurge from the album Horripilating Presence off of Everlasting Spew Records. So yeah, this is some Death Doom, obviously, from Austin, Texas. And yeah, I mean, these guys, I've been aware of them since their EP or demo, whatever, probably both, that came out in 2022. Which is just brilliant, even though it was like 3 songs long. I was like, oh, these guys, they know what they're doing. But I didn't know like they would be able to put something out this good and this polished so quickly. Because I mean, this sounds like this is yet another debut. Seems to be a theme emerging.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, you can hear pretty clear, inspiration from modern Death Doom bands like Temple of Void, and but then you also hear some like Peaceful 3 kind of stuff throughout the album, Paradise Lost. And then in that clip, you could hear a little bit of those like soaring kind of leads and the clean guitar parts, which really reminds me, I don't know if this is an actual, influence of theirs, but they really reminds me of like Dream Unending. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, I could talk a lot about all of the intricate parts of this album, but when it really boils down to it, this is just kind of an album that was made for me. It's just everything I like about Death Doom and metal.
What did you call it? Their Doom.
Doom. Yeah. This
Doom.
is it. This is that in a nutshell. This is just, yeah. So, but what did you guys think?
It would have been definitely higher in my list if I had much time with this album, for sure. It's beautiful. Yeah, that segment at the end, like the last riff, like which is so, it's just so cool. It's kind of what you're saying. There's like some cleaner parts in this album, and they just they're able to blend that with a more like heavier like death metal kind of sides so well. So yeah, just a beautiful, really good album. Really solid pick for number 2.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, man. Like, loved it also. Just melodic riffing grooves. Like, just really, really fucking loved all of the. I mean, everything about the record. I just thought it was a really exceptional example of the Death Doom genre, especially. Just the kind of accessible nature of it. Like I was really down with it. It was classic.
Yeah. It provided a great soundtrack for some of the pre-gaming for Iron Maiden. Wibbs and I did. I guess that was already a month ago, but yeah,
it's pretty cool. Okay. So now it's my pick for number 2, right?
That would appear to be
my
so.
turn now. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about Siderean now. Siderean
Woohoo!
spilling the Astral Chalice. That song was called "The Coming Tides." Um, yeah, Derek had that album. Uh, this was year 9,
Number
right?
9, yeah.
Number 9, yeah. So my first note for this is that I am surprised that this is this high in my list. To be really honest with you guys, it's definitely more progressive than the average stuff that I listen to, but this album, it's one of those albums where I feel like every time I listen to it again, I find something new because there's just so many little things here and there on every single song. But the songs are complex, but they're not. Uh, it's not the feeling that I'm currently having with Tech Death, where it's like overwhelming and I just can't. It's way more digestible, if that makes sense. Um, and in general, I would say I'm a simple man. Like, you give me some dissonant death metal, and you're talking about the space and the cosmos or something like that, and it's gonna be high on my list probably. um, but yeah, for that one, I also think that the other part of it is not only the all the variations and the musicianship, but also the vocals. Like there's like some screams of agony that come out of fucking nowhere in this album. Like, it's everywhere, and it's just great. And then sometimes he goes like more into the harsh vocals that are not exactly the growls that you normally get from death metal as well. And I just thoroughly enjoy it. I've listened to this album countless times. This is a band from Slovenia. I cannot pronounce the name of the city. I'm not gonna even try. Or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I also, I already liked Siderean before this album came out. Their first album is also really good. It's called Lost on Void's Horizon, and it's pretty much the same. It's sort of like the same thing. To be honest. And there's part of me that just wish that a lot of the tech death stuff that I once used to like, but now it's kind of overwhelming to me, could convert into something that resembles more Siderian. But yeah, technically really sound. I don't know. I just love this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I also love it. I love it a lot. It is similar to the last album for sure. You can definitely hear it's the same band, but I think the key difference, at least in my mind for this one, is the mix and production of this one just allows for a lot more like or an organic feel, if that makes sense. Where it has a little bit of that like artificial brain kind of going on
Yeah.
where you got the really aggressive, I guess in artificial brain's case, the like gurgly vocals. And there are some real guttural parts on this one. But then the music is still pretty like proggy, I guess, for lack of a better way to describe that. But like proggy death metal, not like proggy nonsense.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really great. It's just like it all just kind of melds together so beautifully, even though it seems like I wrote here initially, it's kind of jarring, just in the same way when you came to like a artificial brain. I'll just keep saying that one. When you came to one of their first albums, you're like, oh, I don't know about this, but then the more you listen to it, you're like, wait, this actually kind of works a little bit. Similar kind of feeling to this, where over time I just kept being like, wow, okay, they've really done something here.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
I
it's
think that
pretty stunning.
this one for me, my number 3 was Oxygen Destroyer. I mean, honestly, any of them could be number 2. Honestly, it's quite similar in terms of how much I've enjoyed both albums, but in different ways. I would consider this one more like serious metal. I don't know, but I think that this one wins over Oxygen Destroyer personally, just because of what I said. I think Oxygen Destroyer, the songs are cool, they're catchy, they make me happy, but you kind of know what you get. With this one, every time I listen to it, there's like always something, like tiny little things, something new that I find whenever I play this album again. So that's why it got number 2. Did you like it, Wibbs?
Yeah, I did. So I totally get with the artificial brain comparison, right? So this is what I call jingly jangly death metal, right? Like they have like you expect death metal to play chugga 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 kind of or at least kind of you know, – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – –– – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – traditional riffs, whereas what this is all about is like arpeggios all the time, and with almost a clean tone.
Yeah.
There's the almost not really distortion, just like a lot of overdrive, and it's almost a genre in its own right. The approach is so different. You have the extremely aggressive drumming and the super guttural vocals of death metal, but then you've basically got some guy just kind of like playing almost like folk guitar. I mean, it's not really, but like, you know, just playing arpeggios on with almost no distortion, and it's fucking cool. Like, you know, I just like it's I do. I think for me, I gravitate a little bit more to death metal with a little bit more crunch, like bludgeoning shit. This is not bludgeoning at all. This is like very kind of like, you know, weird and contorting and strange, and it's very, very, very good example of this particular style of the approach to death metal. And I really, really liked it. But it's just that it's a very kind of like specific thing that certain people are doing at the moment now, where they're kind of like, no, just, you don't need a HM2 pedal to play death metal. You can just rock up with the Marshall amp and just
and
play chords.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I do have a tendency of liking when people do weird shit with death metal. I think one of the reasons why I'm such for like a death metal guy is just because of the sheer amount of experimentation and different things that people do with death metal. And this is definitely one of the bands they're doing something crazy, man. And it's not that easy, I think, to find other bands that are doing this. Like the Artificial Brain comparison is very true, but I do think that they have their own style. Maybe it's the
for sure.
Maybe it's the cosmic space kind of deal that they are able to somehow, you know, convey to their music that makes them a little bit different. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this album. Well, it's my number 2, of course. I really enjoyed it. So
yeah. I would hope
to see him.
But I'm now thinking about it. I feel like there's, compared to like Artificial Brain, Siderean, at least on this album, has a little bit of like almost, even in that clip that you just played, a little bit of like post rock every so often creeps in.
Yes,
like very, very subtle, but like
very
it's
subtle.
there.
Yes,
yeah,
I agree. Cool. Now, you know, for those keeping tabs at home, you know, we still did not discuss Blood Incantation, though it already appeared in my list and it already appeared on Derek's list. Now, I wonder, is this the time where we're actually finally discussing Blood Incantation? We're going to discover right now. Let's play Wibbs number 2.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, I think I prepared it in the wrong way. I said the Blood Incantation part. I completely forgot. You also had Vemod the Deepening in your list.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, number 2. That was the same song that Mauricio put up in episode 2.
That was
It
my
was
number
True
7.
number 7. Yeah, so it was True North Beckons by Vemod from the Deepening, and this is just one of the best atmospheric black metal albums in recent memory. Like,
Yeah.
fucking fantastic. Just um I tried to capture some of that stuff. Like, it's quite long form, right? So one of the things that they do really beautifully is that they just really kind of just gel and just kind of just get into a groove and just kind of like just rock out for a bit. And it's just very, very mellow, I guess. Black metal. And it's really very, very emotive and just beautiful album. I don't really know too much what to say about it other than it's just excellent atmospheric black metal done perfectly, and you should all check it out. You guys, I know both of you are familiar with this. I think this is quite a popular album in our circles. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's yeah, just like you said, perfect example of what atmospheric black metal can be in this kind of brighter kind of realm. Um, yeah, just really great. Very emotional record, I would say. With these like big crescendos and the yeah, no, it's yeah, an experience for sure. It's yeah, definitely one you can't just listen to one song. That doesn't make sense. You need to listen to the whole thing just in one sitting in order for it to even click, I think. But yeah, wonderful album.
Yeah, to me, like, this album is very melancholic but very satisfying at the same time. And it's sort of hard to, I don't know exactly how to categorize that. I do like the takes with the connection of nature throughout the album as well. There's like some clean vocals at times. Actually, sometimes even there's like glimpses of like Necha Chuen sometimes that I hear throughout the
Ooh, yeah,
music.
yeah.
And you know, Derek earlier was describing the experience of walking in Brooklyn while listening to the Aquilus record.
Yeah.
And this year, I had to travel quite a few times, sometimes for work, sometimes for family reasons, and others for leisure. And this album was with me in a lot of those travels. The experience of just being, I was in the train coming down from Boston and going from Boston to New York on the Amtrak, the train here. And I was just listening to that and looking outside the window, and there's something about it. That's when the album clicks, I guess. You're just looking at nature, and then the music is playing, and as I say, it's very melancholic, but it's very satisfying at the same time. So totally agree, it's a phenomenal album.
I would say, like, yeah, I strongly recommend listening to start to finish. But Mauricio and I both chose passages from this one song, True North Beckons, which for me, well, there's another album coming up that has 2 good songs on it.
Huh.
But like this this is probably my song of the year under normal circumstances. True North Beckons. It's just beautiful, and like with the kind of, there's no way to really capture the way that song unfolds, because it really does. Like, my favorite and most memorable part of any passage of music throughout the whole year is this section in this track where it actually becomes not really metal at all, and they just kind of jam a little, like just kind of settle into this mellow vibe and just roll with this groove for a bit, and it goes on for quite a long time. And I'm a very, very big proponent of, when you find a good groove to settle into, you settle in and you just stay there. That's absolutely the right thing to do, and they do that, and it's just absolutely just heavenly to me. It's just a beautiful, beautiful passage of music, and this was my album of the year for basically the whole year until October. And then
I wonder what happened then.
And then I wonder what happened. That's exactly, it's interesting because we talked about this album when it came out, and I was expecting this to be your number one, Wibbs. So I'm very excited to see
it was my number one.
Yeah, but
for the whole year.
Yeah,
well, I mean most of it.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, it came out in like
January.
February?
Yeah,
January,
January or something. Yeah,
January. And also I do want to say as well, like you mentioned the reference to Nikoquen. Vemod are very, very good buddies with Austin Lunn. And
from Panopticon.
toured with him in like Northern Europe last year, and then they all went to the Fortress Festival together. And I hear a lot of Falls of Auroras in this as well. Like, you go back to the earlier Falls of Auroras.
Yeah.
If you like Vigilance Perennial, which I think is a fucking masterpiece, or really any of those earlier Falls of Auroras albums, like Light That Dwells in Rotten Wood and all that kind of stuff, like the Vemod is for you. To listen to it is awesome.
Yeah, great pick.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, it's been a long journey.
The time has come.
Long journey.
Oh, we are there.
But the time has come to reveal the number one, and we're gonna start with Derek, but something tells me, I got a feeling that certain minds will converge very soon, as you will see. So let's play Derek's number one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do a funny thing here before we discuss. Let's play the 10 first seconds of my clip for the my top one of the year. Just the 10 seconds. Let's just
10
play
seconds.
that.
Yeah,
10 seconds. 10 seconds. exactly the
It's the exact
same
same
thing.
thing.
Exactly the same
Wow.
thing. This is crazy because this is actually just for the listener. This is Spectral voice Sparagmos, our
Yeah.
top one. It's in the middle of a song. It's not. It's not
The
the
song is
first song
very
of the
long.
album.
It's like
It's a
11 minutes
long
long.
song. Exactly. Oh man, do you want to talk about it first? Go for it. But this is hilarious.
Yeah. So I wonder what Maurice is gonna be. Anyway, no, this was a Spectral Voice Sparagmos. The song was Red Feast condensed into one, released by Dark Descent Records. Death Doom from, of course, Colorado, since this is just basically Blood Incantation playing Death Doom instead of Cosmic Death Metal. Yeah, I mean, it's the best thing I've heard all year. I tried to convince myself that, Void Witch or any of the others really in the top, 5 could come into number 1, but no. It's just, yeah, it's a perfect album. I thought that the same thing about Eroded Corridors of Unbeing, the first album from Spectral Voice, and that is a perfect record. But this one is perfect, but in a different way. Whereas I feel like, they still have that like evil and dark tone from the last album, but like they've dialed it up a bit in terms of like the despair and dread and uneasiness. Um, and yeah, I mean that's just exactly what I'm looking for. And they also add these like, you can kind of hear it in that one, these like kind of creepy, chanty bits here and there where you just hear like whispers. And then it's exploding back into life, within like a minute. Yeah, just so wonderful. I also wrote, it's like the concepts of despair and anguish and human suffering are put into music form. I don't know what that says. I don't know what that's.
Pretty good way
Yeah,
of summing it up.
I don't know what that says about me that this is my number 1 album of the year, but yeah, I love that shit.
Well, Sparagmos, the name of the album, it's this ritual. Apparently, it's only in literature, but and they claim it wasn't like a real thing. But apparently, it's like the act of they are like worshiping this Greek god called Dionysus, which is, by the way, the name of my father. I'm not joking. My father is called Dionysus.
He was Dionysus?
No,
Damn.
my father, same name, but but we pronounce that with the Brazilian accent, so it's Dionisio, not Dionysus. But anyway, yeah, he was like like a Greek wine of like debauchery, winemaking, parties, kind of deal, fertility. But there was like a part of it which is like very mad, religious, insane. And Sparagmos was a ritual where they would just take the members and limbs out of a living animal or living person as they were adoring this god. So that tells you everything you gotta know about the themes of this album.
Metal as fuck. Jeez.
It's metal as fuck. I don't know. Similar to you, I've tried many times throughout the year because this came out. When did this came out? It was January or February.
It was early, yeah. Somewhere in that first quarter, I think.
And it was like I can't. As soon as I listened to it, I was like, all right, what in the hell? I don't think there was like one of the most evil albums I've listened to in the past few years. Honestly, their first is really good as well. As you're saying, it's also a perfect album. So I have no idea how the fuck they do it. Because as you're describing, there's 3 members of this band. They're also in Blood Incantation, but the singer is the drummer here in this band, known Spectral.
Yeah, shout out to Eli Windler, I think his name is.
Yeah, and his performance live blew me away. I saw them earlier with a really good friend of mine, Camille, shout out, and then with my wife as well, Stella, who's not into this kind of shit at all. So we all went together and saw them live, and
what an experience.
It's an experience. It's just like, and his performance, because if you listen to the drum parts of this album, there's parts of it where he's just screaming like hell and blast beating like a motherfucker at the same time. And I can only imagine like the stamina that's required for you to do that. And well, at the end of the set, he pretty much like stormed out of the drums, and then he crossed the audience. It was in a very small venue in Philadelphia. He stormed the audience and went outside. And I remember when I was leaving, he was just like leaning on like a wall outside, just dripping sweat and kind of recovering. And that's just like the amount of energy that he channels through this music. And it is just like I've listened to this album 1,000 times this year. And I don't know, man. It's just beautiful. It's perfect. It's one of the best, I think, honestly, one of the best metal albums I've ever listened to in my life. And I've tried convincing myself that that was not the case throughout the year, but here we are.
It just is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
after all that,
sorry.
Yeah, after
we're
all
just
that
adoring
gushing,
this.
what did you think?
Yeah, what did you think, Wibbs?
Yeah, it's not going to be on my list.
Wow.
Just too slow, doesn't connect with me. But I did really enjoy that clip. I was just like, fuck, like whenever this happens every time, I'm just kind of like, fuck, God, fucking damn it.
It's so funny though that when we were talking about the structure of the podcast, I think it was you, Wibbs, that said, "Imagine if we choose exactly the same clip." That happened twice for me and Derek. It happened with Spectral Voice, and we chose exactly the same clip from Blood Incantation. So yeah, we have pretty similar tastes in metal for sure.
Clearly. Yeah. No, I mean, and look, I mean, I don't know. I really admire Paul Rydell, and I really obviously respect you guys and your tastes. I have seen Spectral Voice live, and it is a fucking amazing experience. I absolutely fucking love it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. Like, absolutely no hesitation whatsoever. Just like, I don't know, that I'm just, maybe I don't have the attention, to be able to kind of like sit and just kind of like drink in this kind of thing. But it just, yeah, it just kind of bounced off me, and I kind of feel, but yeah, I feel like a Philistine. That's not the first time I said that. But
yeah, it's not an easy thing to listen to. In your defense, no. It's pretty ugly and unforgiving.
Yeah, something that I was thinking about as well as I was preparing for the podcast is that growing up, like listening to metal and all of that, I remember that the first time I got in touch with some of the more extreme black metal stuff, it was pretty like evil and bad and all of that, but it's kind of funny that these days, me personally, and I don't want to like shit on anyone's like art or anything like that, but to me personally, the whole like Satan demon worship thing, it doesn't like affect me as much. Maybe I'm just numb to it,
who
but
cares about that?
I don't think it's like that evil or anything anymore personally. It's like, yeah, okay, like it, but this shit here, like in this band live, it evoked a feeling that I thought it was lost in me, which is like, I'm listening to this song, this shit is fucking evil, man. And they are somehow able to create this atmosphere and stuff, and it's so funny because they are all very nice guys.
Yeah,
I remember before the band was starting, the Esoteric was opening for them, and they were just on the side just fangirling on Esoteric, and it's just kind of funny that they just shipped when they start playing, and I don't know, it's really amazing band.
Yeah. Well, I guess we don't have to play your clip for the next album, Mauricio, because
no, it's exactly the same. So yeah, exactly, we just did. So we're gonna jump straight into Wibbs number 1. I guess what it is. The $1 million question is: will it be the same clip as in me and Derek? We're gonna find out right now.
Jeez. I mean, anyway.
That was noted speed metal band Blood Incantation.
Would have been a great opportunity for a Rick roll. I was thinking when we started, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just remember the positions before you start. Sorry, that's your number 1. That's Derek's number 4, and that's mine number 6.
So, yeah. So that was Blood Incantation's tablet number 3 of the message.
It's a good tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all chose
Side B.
this album, and we all chose side B. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I was very tempted to choose the Morbid Angel riff at the end of the Stargate, but I just thought there was something about that piece that just kind of emphasized the versatility and also just like the homage to metal in general. Like that, I mean, the Pink Floyd section that preceded that didn't really surprise me. You know, like even the kind of ska breakdown in like the Stargate. Well, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, okay, you're going prog. I'm there for it. But that speed metal section, I was like, whoa, fuck! I did not see that coming. And then of course, like the tablet 3 of the message does go off into the kind of really glorious melodic, like solo, like epic soloing that we saw at the end of Hidden Histories. It was just fucking beautiful. But then in both of your in both of the clips that you played, it was still like, you know, Star Spawn, nasty, cosmic, brutal death metal, and they're just consummate. They can do it all. They can do everything. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And it's never bad.
Absolutely whatever they want. Yeah, and it's never bad.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 40 minutes of amazing metal music. The only thing that I would kind of knock them down a little bit for is the Pink Floyd section in the message is basically Pink Floyd. Like, you know, it's not quite derivative. It's imitation, but it's still fucking cool. I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
everybody.
like...
When it came out, I remember everybody's first reaction, and mine as well. We were all, wait, are we calling this Pink Floyd death metal now? I saw this on multiple places, and I remember like I was about to send a message to you and everybody else on the ITC Discord, and then I just saw someone else saying the same thing. I was like, yeah, but I mean, as you're saying, I think we all chose side B for a reason. It's almost as if side A is kind of preparing you for what's about to come.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that they kind of lose their shit on side B. I feel like. And as you're saying, side B is sort of like in your face saying, yo, you see? Yeah, man, we've ascended. We can do whatever the fuck we want. And you guys are going to like it. So fuck all of you. That's kind of what it is. It's just fucking great. I do think this. I don't remember who said this, but I do think it's going to be one of those albums that we're gonna look back into this as the year goes by as well. Where we're gonna say, this shit was fucking brilliant. And I wonder how many people are going to be influenced by this, because I don't think anyone do what they do. But there's sure other good musicians out there in the world that can try to do some stuff that's similar. So we'll see what happens. But this is kind of bonkers when I've listened to it. It's not as high on my list because I'm a very annoying, stupid metal fan who looks back into Starspawn and is like, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Starspawn is the best album, one of the best albums in existence. And then I'm like, this is not it. Clearly, it's not it. But Derek is just saying that,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we're in sync. But
Yeah, we're
I think
vibing.
it is just my list. But I mean, there's just no way in hell I wouldn't recognize how good this fucking album is and how much it's going to. I mean, it's already changing the game for them because on their most recent tour, I saw them actually this past Monday. We're recording on Black Friday, and I saw them in Philly on Monday of this week, and it was a sold out show. And it's crazy to see the crowd. They are able to get people, that they're not your average death metal listener. They are able to gather all sorts of people that listen to all sorts of crazy shit. Like, it's so many diverse battle vests on that show.
Yeah.
And they are they're amazing live. And as we said, 3 of these guys are on Spectral voice. Minus the drummer, but the drummer already has a lot of other fucking good bands as well. So they are all extremely talented musicians, for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what there is more to say, that hasn't already been said by you guys and, everybody else in the, underground metal scene. Although they have been reviewed by Pitchfork, so I don't know how underground they can be for too much longer. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Like, it could have easily been number 1. But I mean, it's the album I wrote. It's the album it feels like they've been wanting to write their whole career. They're just kind of working towards that. And it's got lovely artwork by the legendary sci-fi artist Steve Dodd, which, you should check out his work if you like this stuff. And, like Mauricio said, it's going to change, at least in my opinion, it's going to change the, shape of death metal to come. Maybe in more subtle ways, but
haven't they already?
Oh yeah,
Because
but
just
even more.
That's fair.
Just today, the Bedsore album came out,
Yeah,
and it was full on, like,
prog nonsense.
moogie prog nonsense. Yeah, but I felt like it was, well, obviously it can't have been a nod to this album, but it was I think a mood, like, a lot of people that are getting pissed off about Blood Incantation going all prog. It's like, motherfuckers, what did you think that this band was gonna do?
Have you been paying attention?
Yeah, what the fuck? Are you paying
Yeah,
attention?
yeah.
Exactly. Like, what the fuck were you expecting?
This is just the most logical progression of this band to in the direction and they just did it almost exactly what I expected them to do. I didn't, like, again, like I said, I didn't expect the speed metal section. I didn't expect them to just, like, at the end of the Stargate, just to go, okay, now we're just gonna play a Morbid Angel riff and you're gonna fucking love it. But, like, everything else just kind of, like, well, I mean, even that, like, I absolutely did it. I should have expected them to do that because it's very logical. But everything that they've done is just, like, a sensible progression. And anybody that's following this band's career, like, you can't listen to Starspawn and Hidden History and the Liminal Bridge or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, that one's so good.
The EP from last year, and then come into this and be surprised. Like, no, it's that's obviously the way that they were going, and it makes perfect sense with their ethos, their aesthetic, and their sound. And no, it's fucking good. And for those people that assume it's not death metal, no. What are you talking about? There's loads of death metal. Like, there's fucking riffs everywhere. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
It's a-
I do have some friends in metal that I do think that they're still stuck with the more like, oh yeah, all these mixing between metal and other genres is just not cool. I like the OG, true underground kind of deal. And I personally don't understand that view. As you're describing, like I remember when Hidden History came out, there was like some backlash from some metal fans on that album for sure. Especially them coming from Starspawn, which I think it was severely like revered as a crazy, really good death metal album, and then they put out Hidden History. But like, I don't understand. I think that they're not. There's bands that go mainstream, and we all know this. There are bands that they make things sound kind of more digestible, and then whatever they go mainstream, and they do that. Yeah, they're musicians. They should do whatever they want. I'm never gonna shit on people for doing that. It's just not for my taste. But with Incantation, I think it comes more as like just you want to try to break the barriers of death metal even more. They want to experience even more. They want to do crazy fucking collabs, and I think that that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Just bring your you bring the dude that sits next to you in the office to a blood incantation show, or play that person fucking absolute elsewhere. They're gonna look at you like you're a fucking freak. And your head
For
is
sure.
on fire. Like, no. This is still extremely edgy, weird music.
Mhm.
Yes.
The people people like us are kind of inured to the really extreme stuff, but like this is not a bid for like mass popularity. Are you fucking kidding me? No. Like it's just like an acid trip.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And well, they do have all their other projects. They're fucking amazing too. Cut them,
Yeah,
scoop them
well,
up.
they do, and
So
They got something for
none
everybody.
of those. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, come on, like look at their like our top one, like mine and Derek's. No Spectral voice. Like, who the fuck is that? You're telling people are gonna think you're a freak by listening to Bellum Incantation? They're gonna think I'm the Satan, and you like Satan spawn if they start listening to Spectral. I was like, wait, do you even like life? Why are you listening to this? But but yeah, I'm really, there's part of me, I think, no, I don't think, I'm sure. I'm just happy that we're alive at a time where such talented musicians are putting out music
Mhm.
like this and breaking the barriers of metal even further. And that's pretty much why I love metal so much. It's just like, it,
Mhm.
think about it, on the days of like streaming TikTok and then one songs, like most of the people that I know they're under 20, they probably don't listen to full albums that much.
Yeah.
And there's people doing this, and that just like makes me so happy.
Yeah. We're
Not
lucky
to
to
shit on
have them.
not to shit on everybody that's under 20. I do know people that are under 20 that do like metal, but I'm just talking about my family. I don't know why I thought about my family, but
Yeah, we're lucky to have them and everybody else in the Denver scene, and yeah, it's a cool time to be a nerdy metalhead.
all right, so we finally made it. No, yeah, we have all of our lists down. Very happy with this journey, guys. You guys are really good at choosing good metal, man.
Yeah.
You too.
You too.
Thank you. So you can follow us. Oh, we improved things ever since our first episode. So now, for anyone listening to the Purgatory After Show, we can follow us on Spotify. We're also on YouTube. We do have a Blue Sky account now, and we're probably going to expand with more socials in the future. We do need an Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get there. Slowly, but we're gonna get there. And yeah, just if you're listening, just consider giving us a like. If you want to give us 5-star on Spotify, that helps a lot. Just ask your mom, ask your dad, ask your children. Just use them account. Go in there and play and give us the stars. But that helps with them. But thank you so much, and I don't know what we're going to talk about on our next episode, but I do know it's going to be fucking awesome. So
No, we definitely do, because we have a great plan always for the next episode.
yeah, we actually have
Definitely.
300 different topics that we want to talk about. So, all right. So, that was awesome, guys. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
Stay metal, y'all.